11:46 a.m. This is 4th Street. I'm in Ontario, and what I want to show is that I am exiting BAYMONT in. This is a third party who's in relevant position. He's engaged in monitoring. He is an employee of this facility where I was from December 4th, engaged in monitoring with the state the entire time. Third parties are the vicarious presence of the state. So this is literally the state that's engaged in stalking on behalf of the state. You are engaged in stalking when you are in relevant position. You are in relevant position with the intent to engage in criminal monitoring. They are monitoring with communication devices. So this is criminal element number 3, relevant positioning. Understand, this is traffic. They're all engaged in that same element, relevant positioning. In the background, you hear the air blower, the lawnmower blower, or like a chainsaw. Understand that is monitoring as well. They do not have to be directly in front of me to engage in the criminal elements because they are using communication devices. So they are merely engaged in maintaining group presence. What prefaces everything that I'm documenting is the fact that the state is literally engaged in flying over me in every place that I am in plane and helicopter, which is exactly what happened at 11:42 a.m. as I stand here right in front of BAYMONT, where I'm saying I have been monitored by every single last one of them. Understand, this is a satanic system. They are engaging in criminal elements of monitoring. It's a state monitoring system, and so they are engaging in creating audible activity, light activity as they're crossing paths, each and every one of them representing a communication device. This is the exact same system in operation inside of West Valley Jail. This is license plate 5, Uncle, Y as in you, T as in Tom, 209. This is the third party in relevant position, monitoring with the state of California. This is the third party. That is license plate 8, Robert Zebra 670. They are engaging in crossing a path. This is group stalking in violation of federal law 18 USC, United States Code, section 42A. That is where you are monitoring through the means of interstate commerce, which is what they are doing. And this is why one can stand over here at a distance from me, maintaining, I do not know this person personally. They are engaging in monitoring, and that is 24/7 stalking on behalf of the state. So yes, absolute strangers monitoring with the state of California, the government that is maintaining what is a satanic system. Understand the light activity on this vehicle over here while she is in relevant position. This is monitoring conduct, okay? And this is the exact same persistence of elements. And mind you, again, what prefaces everything I'm documenting? The fact that the helicopter just flew right over me, right over, you see these power lines, flew directly over me as I'm standing on the sidewalk. This is how you know what they are doing in relevant position. Okay, she's creating light activity. She is facilitating the state's group stalking system, period. And this is how federal law is intentional crossing path. Understand, this is how the state engages in monitoring. This is the exact same conduct that I document while I am outside or while I am at any third-party facilitating venue where my documentation has shown the ongoing stalking by the state via airplane, via helicopter. And this is including while I was kidnapped inside of West Valley Jail, while kidnapped by the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse where the state was flying over. As I'm being transported to and from the courthouse from West Valley Jail, the state is flying over, crossing path, criminal element number 3 for monitoring with communication devices, flying over the vehicle that I am in helicopter, flying over. There's a large white windmill next to West Valley Jail. If you are familiar with that jail, the helicopter is crossing path, flying right over Etiwanda as we're driving back toward the jail. This is the police engaging in ongoing state stalking. This is, again, the Planet Fitness. This is Golden Corral. This is Sparkler's Laundry, and what you have is the state flying over at low elevation in an airplane, and it just engaged in flying over me by a helicopter directly over the sidewalk. This is in any way contradicting what I'm saying. This is the state engaging in state stalking. That is the intentional creation of audible activity back there with a chainsaw. This is state stalking, and what it is, state stalking, that is by police, by ambulance, by fire personnel. You see this plane making a sharp turn. It's making a sharp turn to the sky. All it was doing is engaging in relevant positioning. That's the state engaging in ongoing stalking. While I was in room 225 at BAYMONT and the state flying directly over the room, amplified in sound, okay? They were not flying over here. They're flying directly over my room, as I have documented at Mayfair Inn, as I documented at Woodside Senior Apartments, as I documented, again, that's the helicopter over here, as I documented, and understand that's relevant positioning. They are monitoring with communication devices in concert with these group stalkers. Understand, they're all crossing paths. This is how a state monitors an American citizen. They are acting in concert with that, okay? So understand that. These are the exact same elements that I documented inside of while I was kidnapped by the state, and that is Ontario Police Morris and Corporal Kemp, and you have the same elements flying directly over me, over my room, directing light. That is in no way sunlight. They are directing light. Light is the central element for monitoring, and this is while I was at Woodside Senior Apartments. This is while I was at Mayfair Inn. This is while I was at Economy Inn. If you paid attention to my documentation, understand while inside of West Valley Jail, the state directing light into the unit where I'm at. It is not sunlight that was directly beaming downward from the top horizontally through the wall, through small window slots, and moving in all directions inside of the unit, even inside of my cell. This is absolutely impossible light activity while the state was monitoring me inside of the jail while I remained kidnapped, okay, having no legal right to ever arrest me. That was criminal obstruction that Officer Morris and Corporal Kemp engaged in, assault and battery, while I'm engaged in documenting the state of California engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. Understand that federal group stalking and monitoring is a satanic system. Every single element for monitoring, number one, the first element is light. The second element is activity that is audible, visual, or sensational activity, anything you can feel, like vibration, rumbling. And the third element is the stalking group entity, meaning they maintain presence. Understand that this is relevant positioning. This is someone intentionally engaging in being in the path of the one who was monitored. It is not a coincidence that they are there. This is how the state engages in what is public corruption. And you need to understand that it is satanically rooted. This is a demonic system. They are engaged in, as I documented inside of the facility, able to listen to everything that I'm doing at all times and creating activity simultaneously, okay? While outwardly on the external surface appearing as though they are concerned with something else. This is the satanic aspect of it. It is group stalking. Understand that group stalking is demonic in that demons act as a group. All right. And so the only thing that is establishing this is, okay, we've got another airplane, and mind you, this is the helicopter that is over here. This is the state engaging in very close monitoring while I'm on the internet documenting them. Understand, this is exactly what I documented on September 25th, and this is a third party that was creating light activity. She's crossing path. That's license plate 5, Y as in Young, Apple, Edward, 582. She's monitoring just like every single last one of them. This is all a perimeter of crossing path, creating audible activity, and creating light activity. And this is what happens everywhere that I go. And this is absolutely unhindered. So this is constant monitoring by the state of California. While you see planes orbit around everywhere I am at, they are flying across the street right now. The helicopter is circling across the street, whereas moments ago, while I was standing right here on the sidewalk eating, that's the food I was eating, the helicopter flew directly over my head. At the same time, I engaged in touching my property, right? That's what monitoring is. Keeping you surrounded with activity. This is how you monitor with communication devices, keeping you surrounded, and that is being in the path. Okay, every word is a term of art. Being in my path is stalking on behalf of the state. They are maintaining vicarious presence on behalf of the state. That is stalking by aircraft, by helicopter, by police, ambulance, and fire. Engaging in criminal obstruction, that is kidnapping. Engaging in sexual assault and battery to defame, putting me in a mental ward as I'm documenting their criminal system. That is satanically rooted. This is just to show how this is where I have been since December 4th, having been released from being kidnapped by West Valley Jail and then handing me off to Arrowhead Regional Medical Center, who engaged in a criminal continuation of that detention, which they had no legal right to do so whatsoever. You're talking about the criminal abuse of the legal process by the Rancho Cucamonga Courthouse, Kara Hudson, Lisa Rogan, Misha Moss. We're going back to Laura Alvarez. These are all those who engaged in what was a fictitious prosecution in case number Mary Wendy Victor 200000640. This is why they engaged in kidnapping on September 25th while I was engaged in documenting the helicopter doing exactly what I'm capturing over here, flying in relevant position back and forth. That's what I documented on my podcast. The helicopter was flying in front of me, the aircraft flying directly next to me, all around that third-party venue. And then the police visually arriving, because the police are always engaged in stalking. They are always in relevant position, using their sirens, using their lights to engage in monitoring conduct in concert with the people of the state of California who are engaged in monitoring. Understand, this is stalking in the path. They're crossing path. They are intentionally doing so, intentionally creating audible activity. This is the group stalking aspect. The state stalks with light, the state stalks with activity, and the state stalks as an entity, directly by police, ambulance, fire, and airplane and helicopter, and vicariously through the people of the state of California. And that is P.O.C. And that is what I consistently document. That is exactly what is happening right now. It's 11:57 a.m. and I am leaving third-party venue BAYMONT Inn, where I was subject to ongoing monitoring. They're surrounding the facility. Understand, monitoring is systematically occurring as they're crossing path on the street. This is the 10 freeway back here. This is systematic crossing a path. And this is where, when you're understanding the nature of the crime of monitoring, they do not have to be literally standing outside of my door. Although group stalkers do that, they are using communication devices. And so there is a zone of relevant positioning, being in the path, in order for the state to engage in systematic monitoring with communication devices. Understand, that's nothing but activity creation. Okay, this is over 2.5 years of documenting the state's conduct, and after documenting the additional acts of criminal obstruction, I am just showing how it is absolutely unhindered no matter where I go. And so as I leave BAYMONT Inn, as I walk outside, each and every one, and this is why I've documented third parties, because they are group stalkers. These are literally demons that are engaging in a group stalking system. And it is in violation of federal law. Again, that's 18 U.S. Code Section 42A, where you are monitoring with any means of interstate commerce, and they are using airplanes and helicopters. They are using instrumentalities of interstate commerce. They're using vehicles. They're using the roadways. They're using the freeways. They're using the airspace. They are using internet. They are using communication devices. Okay, this is how they are monitoring, and that's exactly what is occurring ceaselessly. When I'm not on the internet, when I am on the internet, and this is how you also. This is a system full of psychopaths. It is psychopathic conduct that they are engaged in. Monitoring, even when I don't have a phone on, even when I am locked up in jail illegally, engaging in the same psychopathic conduct, stalking with activity, stalking with light, stalking as an entity, the very inmates and the deputies and the medical workers inside of that facility, engaging in group stalking and monitoring. And the same goes for the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse. This is a system that is designed to insulate itself from prosecution, from exposure, and that is why they engaged in kidnapping. That is why Lisa Rogan engaged in kidnapping on February 18th, not giving me a trial in what was a fictitious prosecution. F. Ramos is not a real person. This is the person named on the quote-unquote complaint. This is the person named on the quote-unquote declaration of probable cause, which they used to engage in what was a fake case that I never even got a trial in. And this is what Ontario police engaged in using and referencing, citing they had a warrant in a fake case, which I never got a trial. Okay, this is the criminal conduct of the state of California, seeking to conceal what I am exposing, what I am documenting. This is a means of light activity on the street. Okay, this is intentional. The city of Ontario engaging in the criminal system of monitoring. This is what surrounds everywhere I'm walking. They engage in that construction. I've documented this before. Understand that this is how the state engages in monitoring. This is an ordinary manner of criminal monitoring, and it is intentionally so. Understand that. They use their turn signals, they use their reverse lights, they use their headlights, they use their brake lights. The city of Ontario, these construction workers engaging, and the same in Los Angeles. I documented the same if you pay attention to my documentation. Okay, DWP, Department of Water and Power, engaging in criminal P.O.C. in the same manner that I document out here, in relevant position while the helicopter is flying over me, the state is flying directly over and circling around me in airplanes, engaging in construction in the center of the street. This is form for criminal monitoring in concert with every single last one of them. And so what I am showing is how it is consistent everywhere that I go. It is a satanic system, and this is how you have a group, okay? A group, an expansive group engaging in the same pattern of psychopathic behavioral conduct designed to monitor with the state of California. That is the significance of what I'm documenting. That is exactly what is continuously occurring. That's exactly what happened. It's why I'm starting this Facebook Live. because the helicopter flew directly over my head. Aware that my phone is not on. This is something that's not brand new. I have documented this for a long time, and what you also need to understand is that the pattern of conduct is also sought to be concealed by the same demonic group stalkers online who have the ignorance to engage in documenting themselves by getting on my social media platforms where their insight is not welcome. Understand, this is crossing a path by pedestrian. This is crossing a path by all of them in their cars. This is ongoing group stalking everywhere that I walk, okay? So this is how the system works. Understand, every single last one of them vicarious presence on behalf of the state. Aware of who I am, using their communication devices, creating light activity, creating audible activity. They're merely just crossing path. And this is the ease with which you engage in monitoring an American citizen, okay? That's what I want to be clear on. Okay, so this is the third-party group stalkers getting online, engaging in the state's pattern of conduct of criminal obstruction by engaging in defamation, okay? They are not speaking as individuals, they are speaking as the state. Engaging in, pay attention, that's the helicopter. What this helicopter is doing, it's engaging in patrolling. Patrolling is when you are just going around the targeted individual, and that's what he's doing. He's flying over here, he was flying over here, he flew directly over my head moments before I got on Facebook Live, okay? And understand, this is the pattern. This is not a one-time affair, so this is in no way helpful to the state that is aware that I'm documenting them, so they're literally providing more and more documentation of the same, which is what they continue to do. It is not a series of ongoing coincidences for over 2 years. This is documentation of the state of California engaging in what is in violation of federal law. That's 18 U.S.C. Section 42A, where they are monitoring with the people of the state of California in what is a satanic targeting system. Every single element of criminal monitoring is rooted in demonic practices. And this is what is in operation by California. The group conduct is demonic. The stalking with light conduct, that is demonic. Okay? The stalking with activity using inanimate objects to create activity, to stalk, meaning to follow every move you make, every change in activity you make, using inanimate objects to create that activity, audible activity, that is rooted in demonic practices. Understand that. This is a satanic system. This is what California is engaged in. And understand, every single last one are intentionally engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. And so that is what I am documenting, and based on my ongoing documentation of the behavioral pattern, and this includes commercial third parties like UPS. They are intentionally engaging in crossing path right now. Understand that, okay? Understand that. The light activity from the construction site, understand they are intentionally engaging in that. 82262 G as in George 1, okay? It is a state system. There is no exclusion. There are no exceptions. None whatsoever. And the way you establish that is by continuous documentation. And that is what I have engaged in, and that's what I've published. And this is why the state engaged in criminally kidnapping me on more than one occasion. January 13th, kidnapped by Ontario police officer Jason Knighton and L. Keys. Jason Knighton, Ontario police number 80509, kidnapping, engaging in false allegations of PC 148A1 while he was actually engaged in group stalking and monitoring. And at the same time that I am documenting the airplane flying directly over me next to the 7-Eleven, while I'm documenting the police engaging ongoing stalking pattern, this is when he engages in kidnapping me and monitoring the entire way as airplanes follow as they take me to the West Valley Jail, okay? And then they engage in a fictitious prosecution at the Rancho Cucamonga courthouse, where Lisa Rogan engaged in kidnapping on February 18th, did not give me a trial, took me into custody, and stated in that courtroom, where all of them were engaged in monitoring on camera in that courtroom, where the state was engaging in directing light inside of that courtroom in the same manner, all elements present, they were monitoring. Lisa Rogan was monitoring. She was engaged in the same pattern of conduct that you see these third-party group stalkers on my platform engaging in. That is defamation. Engaging in the immediate reaction to try to criminally obstruct the exposure and prosecution of the state of California by stating that the targeted individual suffers from some mental illness that does not exist, okay? That is the response of the state, and those third-party group stalkers are documented as such, engaging in the pattern of conduct of criminal obstruction. That's what that is. They are not speaking as individuals. They are speaking as the state. They will be prosecuted as such. That is what they are doing, getting on my Twitter, getting on my Facebook, getting on my Instagram, sending messages and or posting it on for the public to see. Both of them are the same. Everything that is online, everything that they are stating, everything is subject to group exposure, that I am being monitored. It is not private, it is defamation, and it serves a criminal purpose. And the criminal purpose is monitoring by a government, which poses a credible threat, one which is an unprecedented credible threat, creating an ongoing emergency for so long as the state continues this criminal conduct. And that is what the significance of what I'm documenting online and publishing online with regard to group stalkers on my platforms is reveals as well. This is POC, audible and visible activity, crossing path. Understand, this is how you prosecute the state of California, okay? And what prefaces everything is the fact that the state is engaged in stalking by plane, helicopter, police, fire, ambulance, engaging in criminal misuse of their vehicles to create light activity, while they are engaged in literal stalking, meaning staying in my path, directly and indirectly. This is relevant positioning. Understand that, okay? This is relevant positioning. Everybody inside, they're in their private residences, they're in BAYMONT Inn, they're on the streets, they're at the gas station. This is how you monitor with communication devices. They don't have to stand right here in front of me, okay? It is 12:07 p.m. and I want to understand the entire time that I'm documenting using this phone, the helicopter engaged in patrolling that is flying circles around me. Okay, I documented the exact same conduct in Los Angeles County, if you recall that, on my YouTube at in July 2020. It's not a coincidence. It's the same conduct that I documented while on the Metro link going to and from Los Angeles. Okay, this is the state engaging in what is federal group stalking, a satanic targeting system. The people of the state of California engaging in it in concert with the state. Okay, that is not the sun. That is directly over me. Let's be clear on that. And let's also be clear, the fact that the state is engaging in what is trickery in the sky. I've also documented this. So as I'm leaving BAYMONT Inn, it's a little cloudy. This is the same thing they did everywhere that I go since I started documenting the state stalking with light. Okay? That is stalking with light conduct right there. And why do you stalk with light? Because I am constantly surrounded. These third parties in traffic, pedestrians on the street, as I walk past any building, everywhere that I'm walking, they're engaging in monitoring with the state. That's why you stalk with light, placing fictitious light objects in the sky that literally stay above, which is not the sun, which is a scientific fact. This is not reasonably questioned. It is also that which the court engaged in, that same stalking with light conduct inside of West Valley Jail, that same stalking with light conduct, and this is documented on the cameras. There is no reasonable argument here. It doesn't exist. But group stalkers engage in what is defamation and what is a defeated effort, a pathetic criminal effort to try to continue to conceal what is a satanic targeting system. Understand that stalking with light, that is rooted in demonic activity. Understand that. You are looking at demonic activity. You're not going to see them flying around in wizard suits with a red tail. That's not what demonic activity looks like. They are engaging in that which is outwardly appearing as one thing, while they are engaged in what is actually a satanic targeting of an American citizen, where I do not have to know them personally. You are documenting their engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring in concert with the state of California that is stalking in all manners documented, and their presence, this is the prosecution of the state of California, their presence is facilitating that criminal monitoring, and that's the prosecution of each and every documented third-party group stalker. That is POC. It's 12:09 p.m. Again, as I've already shown, that is called being in the path. And this is what they do: surrounding on the sidewalks, surrounding in the buildings, surrounding on the roads. Okay, and the state is also surrounding a relevant position above, stalking with light and stalking by aircraft, stalking by police, fire, ambulance. Okay, it is BAYMONT Inn 1655, and that is POC.